Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas Countdown, the Psychic Medium Advent Calendar Vlog. My name is Melissa Brace. So, welcome and thank you all so much for the support and love. It warms my heart. I was thinking about what to do for the 11th day as we count backwards from 12 to 1 to the day of Christmas. And I kind of was really nudged to talk about Christed energy, Christ, the Christed beings. And in the spiritual realms, the Christed beings are those who rise up in frequency. Rise up in frequency to the energy of the heavens. And so that just means that there is no judgment, no pain, no illness. And that's what we're all going for. And sometimes when truly, when I'm having a really rough day, or several times a day, usually I do this, prayer to help me stay up in the Christed energy, which is all of our divine rights to live in and partake in. This is Nova. Oh, this is Nova, the great white Nova. So she's being helpful today in the loving energy. So I drew a couple of cards. But first I want to start with what I do to get to the Christed energy in myself, in my heart, in my path, my days. And part of this is a prayer that one of my mentors and teachers taught me. And it just works every single time. When in need, you go into your heart space and you start with, I am that I am. I am one in my holy I am presence and precious Christ self. All parts of my being are in perfect harmony, balance, and alignment. And in that, the Christed energy that we're bringing into our bodies, into our lives, into our circumstances in that prayer is, recognition of God inside each one of us, the light in us. But in that, it also pushes out anything that is unlike Christ. So over the years in readings, the loved ones and angels have said things like, pray for the confidence of Christ, or the abundance of Christ, or the joy of Christ in readings. And that just means nothing can taint it. Nothing can worm its way in and pull you down. And so I ask that for everybody today. And for the love of nachos, everybody, every time I try to make a YouTube video, I get a lot of sort of interference from texts that are yucky. And I've mentioned that before. So that is happening again. I've been trying to do this for an hour, having these incoming texts and yucky things. So in this, it kind of helped me decide what to focus on in our, talk of Christ and Christedness for Christmas. As Christmas is ultimately a celebration of Christ. And that would be in any ways, whatever views or beliefs or ideas that we have in our mind, Christ. And so it invites Christ into our world, our lives. And the cool part is all of us are battling, all kinds of stuff, the losses and depressions and grief and illness and addictions and pain. So I ask for the hands of Christ today to sweep away anything unlike Christ in each one of us and each one of our lives. And for the hands of Christ to lift up our hearts and align us in perfect harmony, balance, and order, divine order in Christ, in all levels and all ways. And, what we do is spiritual energy workers, or people that talk in terms of frequencies and things like that. We really aim to detach and and dissolve and transmute. Transmute means turn into love. Turn an already energetic peace into love. So I ask that for all of us. And if there's anything in our energy fields, anything in our lives, anything in our homes, anything in our jobs, anything in our relationships, our bodies, our thoughts, our minds, all depressions and pains and worries and addictions and fears and losses and grief and angers and fear, I ask that those be detached and dissolved and healed with the hands of Christ today. I drew a couple of cards, and I got out my saint cards that are so cool. All the years I love the saints, and I might be Catholic. So my mom used to get me, cards, oracle cards or whatever. I grew up in a bookstore. So I had a little bit of extra learning and knowledge, and really the greatest parents for teaching a light worker, teaching a little starseed like myself. And my favorite cards, of course, as usual, are the sacred activation cards. So I drew Miracle. Miracle. The frequency of miracle supports our belief in ourselves as part of Source, and therefore our belief in that anything is possible. Miracle. Number 33, that's a 6. 33 is a master number if you like numerology. And so in that, miracle belongs in the Christed energy. And I love that part. Let me read that part again, where it says that it's miracle, frequency of miracle supports our belief in ourselves as a part of Source, as a part of God. So that's what I'm talking about today, as Christed being, as a Christed being. And so the messages for us today are, justice and balance and all kinds of things are absolutely possible and real in the Christed energy. And as we think of Christmas, it often brings a lot of sadness or depressions, or if you know anyone that has addictions or suffering, it causes excess stress and intense kind of like trauma sometimes. So we ask that Christ in Christmas lifts up everybody's hearts and frees them from whatever wounds or pains or burdens we all have. Let it be the Christmas miracle. I drew a couple more cards, and one of them was out of a deck my mom gave me like 30 years ago. So I drew St. James, Knight of Staffs. So in traditional cards, this would be the Knight of Wands, which would be fire signs. It's a little blurry, pardon me. St. James is, one of Jesus's beloved disciples, and crew, one of the 12 apostles. And I looked it up, but I wasn't really sure quite what he's the patron saint for. They said that it might be Jesus's brother. St. James is the patron saint of Spain, and according to tradition, his remains are held in Santiago de Compostela and Galicia. I don't think that I said that correctly, but he's the patron saint of Spain. And then to me, I have a friend gave me a St. James something or other a long time ago, and it was about friendship. So connection, communion in our hearts, a Christed connection between friends. So also this is just a really cool nod or idea to remember our soul tribes, our soul families, our families, and remember that there's a connection in God, in the universe of love, for each and every one of us. I love that. And it's, again, as we go into Christmas, again, it's really hard. In the past years, sometimes it's been hard for me not to have depression, loss of, I usually by myself. And of course, I have a wonderful family that, wants me to be around them. But I kind of isolate sometimes and get this. So out of the mystical wisdom cards, get this, I got cheer up. Cheer up. So in these times of Christmas, sometimes it's heavy and we're supposed to buy one more thing and be one more place. And it's just a little bit tough for some of us. And so anyone that ever has a little bit of depression or heaviness or burden around the Christmas times, the message is cheer up, as that's easy to say as well. Live in the moment. So in that prayer, I am that I am. I am one in my holy I am presence and precious divine Christ self. All parts of my being are in perfect harmony, balance, and alignment. And you can just feel like it's almost like the whole universe, all of the heavens are an orchestra and they're all tuning up, all of the instruments of heavens. All the angels are singing in perfect pitch, tone, harmony. And you can kind of feel that happen inside. It just is almost like a tune-up. I am that I am. I am one in my holy I am presence and precious Christ self. Christed beings are when spiritual people talk about that, overall, it is about raising your frequency to the frequencies of Christ, of the heavens, as we come into this new age. So again, we're coming into 2020. Can you believe it? And we are beckoning into this new age, of the age of Aquarius, which would be just a times change. It's not like I made that up. Change of times, change of our paradigms, change of our mindsets. As we come into these times, it's a good choice to choose the Christed energy inside of us and recognize each other with eyes of Christ for Christmas. Maybe you'll find it, the people that used to annoy you or you didn't like very much, or the family member that you did not want to sit by. Maybe you'll find a new just a new happiness or balance or inspiration from them this year. So I also have another saint deck that my mom gave me many, many years ago. My mom was really cool. She was quite advanced in biblical everything. And I grew up in church, so I really appreciate everything I learned from her. And she could, like, if I said, where is it in the Bible that was, so-and-so, that, Jacob did this and this, that she would go, oh yeah, that's in so-and-so. And she was the least judgmental person I knew, in many ways. And so I learned so very much from my mama. What a wise old soul she is. So I hadn't drawn one yet, and I will choose this one. Let's see what we got here. Number 22. I don't know if I can say his name. Number 22, Saint Camillus. Number 22, Saint Camillus. Let me look it up in English so that I can read it in English, because that is what I can understand. This really goes in really beautifully today with the Christed energy. Saint Camillus Delius of the 16th century Italy. He founded the ministers of the sick. He protects the needy. Um, so we can ask for assistance in our prayers in the heaven to the heavens. Heaven, the company of heaven, can you help me figure this out? Can you help me? He is a person present at the time of need. So if any of us are coming to feeling a little needy, feeling a little bit shut down, depressed, anyone that has PTSD, anyone that has mental breakage, illness, anyone that has addiction, anyone that has just, family or everyday life, sickness, illness, cancers, abuses. I'm just going to ask that Saint Camillus help God uplift our hearts and just take away some of the darkness within us, the pains, the worries, and stresses, and lift us up into the Christed energy for Christmas. And we ask that we stay in the present moment, knowing that everything is okay, we are okay, and we are aligned in our highest Christed self. So I hope this was fun, and Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry holidays and joy and peace and warmth to everyone. And this is our 11th day countdown. Tomorrow will be number 10. Thank you so much. Many blessings.